I often speak on the exponential power of recognition, and yet the message can get lost because of the simplicity of the message. The exponential power of recognition is really when recognition catches you off guard and it's a surprise. And why is this so important? Because you see, when we're out there and we're trying to do our daily work and we're working as hard as we can, oftentimes it's head down, get through it. And yet when somebody stops and surprises you, it's a moment in time. You don't forget those kinds of moments. Kim Shepard is a business mentor of mine, leader of a wonderful business called Decisions Toolbox out of California. She's a completely virtual company. Not easy to be able to be all about culture when people don't always physically see each other on a regular basis, other than perhaps through video conferencing. And yet she has built one of the strongest cultures in North America. And how does she do this? Through leveraging the exponential power of recognition. So here's the thing. When you surprise people, it connects with our emotion centers of the brain, and it's more memorable. We want to pay attention to the things that stand out for us. That is what we notice. When things are benign, when things are day to day, it's very hard to take those things in. So leveraging actually an exponential moment of recognition allows your brain to connect, to remember, and to react to what you're doing. And there's lots of different ways in which we could do this. In fact, if you go to my website, Cool Stuff, you can download all kinds of strategies on leveraging the exponential power. And I'm going to encourage you later in this video to comment on some of the additional suggestions that you have. Let's keep building this great list. But where did Kim learn this in the first place? Her very, very first big fancy job, she got a bonus. Because she's awesome, of course she got a bonus. And instead of giving her a check, they put that big bonus in her bank account. She didn't know how much it was going to be, and she knew bonus time was coming around. But when she went to get out some money and she saw this money sitting on her bank statement, she thought, oh my gosh, shoot, there's a problem. She had to go to the bank and say, I think there's a problem with my account. And the bank had to look at, oh, I'm so sorry. I had to look it up. And sure enough, what did she find? That was my employer. And then went, ah. Now that's how you give somebody a bonus. And you may be thinking, well, I can't give bonuses. We're a not-for-profit, or our economy isn't doing too well, or we're in mining and the things that we mine aren't doing well. And you know what? It's not just about industries that are making money. We can practice the exponential power of recognition even when it doesn't cost a thing. Also, life events. Oftentimes we do very little to acknowledge important life events, and yet when you think about what are the most important things in employees' minds, whether it's your peers, your staff, your colleagues, it's their life events. And we talk a lot about work-life balance, but how often do we actually acknowledge the important things that are going on in their lives? Somebody's had a baby, they become a grandma for the first time, they buy a new house, or they decide that they're going to get rid of debt and they're going to just buy an RV and they're going to travel around once they retire in 3 years. Those are important events in people's lives. When you know about it, why not acknowledge that life event? And on the topic of family, when we have people who are sacrificing time away from their family, it is within our best interest, as well as shows support to them, to leverage that as an opportunity to recognize. One of my favorite examples is when I've had people send Swiss Chalet to the family of somebody who's working really late, with the driver saying that Company X wanted to say thank you so much for being willing to spare mom or dad again because they're working really hard on a project. Isn't that amazing? And yeah, there's some of those things cost a little bit of money. However, what could be done that doesn't cost a lot of money to show the family how much you appreciate them? Why not send a card? It costs a stamp and the cost of a card. What other ways that you can think of that you've practiced or that you've seen and heard about that are examples of the exponential power of recognition? Why don't you share that in the comment feature? And then we can all get even more ideas about how to leverage the element of surprise to make sure people feel valued. My name's Sarah McVanel. Be well and be great.